the first runner-up is Miss Haiti. Miss Finland is Miss Universe.
The world's most beautiful girl, reaching for the crown that represents the peak of international beauty and prestige. We'll see what it takes to get there on The World of Miss Universe. Great moments from pageants of the past. A day in the life of Miss USA, Julie Lynne Hayak. Plus, exclusive behind-the-scenes footage of pageant preparations in St. Louis. It's all an exciting preview of the competition for the coveted title of
Pinakamagandang dilag sa buong daigdig.
And what does that mean?
Miss Universe.
And now, your host, Bob Barker.
You know, whoever said beauty is in the eye of the beholder must have had me in mind. Because in the past 16 years, I have beheld most of the world's great beauties hosting the Miss Universe Pageant. And we're here to give you a behind-the-scenes look at this spectacular happening. Choosing a new Miss Universe has become an international event, viewed by 600 million people in 50 countries via satellite. And if there's one thing I've learned after all those live telecasts, it's that anything can happen. I know one night a girl's strap broke on her evening gown. The evening gown began to fall. I caught the evening gown. I saved that girl. But the cameramen were furious with me. Of course they would. But I always expect the unexpected during the interview. And the way I see it, it's not what they say, but the way they say it.
You speak English? Call. Well, speak English. Say something.
Listen to me. Thank you. I'm sorry. I am very happy to represent my country. I live in Belgrade, etc.
Unas palabras in English, see?
Yes, I'm
What?
very little.
What words do you know in English?
Hungry,
Hungry?
help,
Help?
and boys.
Boys? You know my name? What is my name?
My name is
My name.
Sasco Nakayama.
No, you, Sashiko.
Yes,
Me, Bob. What can you say in English?
I love New York.
Great! What words do you know in English? Tell me one word or two or three.
I need to drink.
Well, I need a drink. What can you say in English?
You are the most handsome man.
You have a brilliant young lady here in Czechoslovakia. With microphone talk? Talk? In Czechoslovakia, job? Talk? Television?
Yeah, I speak television. I am
She speaks television. Wow. Where have you traveled?
Well, I've been to Trenton, New Jersey. I've been to,
What was the most beautiful state you saw?
Oh, I remember Georgie. What?
Georgie?
Yes, Georgie. I tell why, but because it was so strange. And
you're a famous person, that's obvious, of course. And now let's come down to your affairs, shall we?
My what?
The most interesting part of your life,
Yes.
your affairs.
My affairs?
Yes.
Yes, that's what
I had to open an old folks' home. And I met this very old man. He was 103 years old.
103?
Yes, very old. And he gave me a peck on the cheek. And he said, oh, I wish I was 10 years younger.
When they asked her favorite television star, you said,
The price is right.
The Price is Right. Do you really watch? Come on down. You got it. Do you really watch Price is Right? Does your family watch it?
I have no choice. My father is sitting up there, and he watches The Price is Right every night.
Your father is here at the mountain? You, sir, have won a refrigerator. Thank you,
Popular feature of the Miss Universe pageant is the Parade of Nations, when each contestant gets to show off her national costume. It's also an important part of the pageant because the girls are judged and scored on how well their costumes look. Some are elaborate, some are simple, and some are just plain strange. They come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Some of the girls bring their costumes in their purses. Others have to rent a 747. I've seen costumes that are bigger than the countries they represent. But if you think it's hard wearing one of these costumes, try walking behind one. You can lose an eye. As you can see, I haven't changed a bit. It's my tuxedo that's getting older. You know, the Miss Universe pageant is more than just a pretty face. It's an international entertainment spectacular. Since it began in Long Beach, California in 1952, the pageant has grown to be as glamorous as the women in it. It has become bigger and more exciting every year, and it has traveled all over the world.
Live from the Miami Beach Auditorium in Greater Miami,
Way down under in Perth, Western Australia.
the ancient theater of Herod Atticus in Athens, Greece. From Republica Dominicana, the Dominican Republic.
From Mexico.
The capital of El Salvador in Central America. Welcome to the British-crowned colony of Hong Kong on the southern coast of China. From the most exciting city in the world.
I've had some language problems with some of the contestants, but there's one contestant I never had any problem talking with at all, Miss USA. And this year, as always, she's bound to be one of the pageant favorites. Melody Rogers will tell you all about her.
When Miss California becomes Miss USA and spends a few months in New York City getting ready for the Miss Universe pageant, there is no stopping her. Julie Hayak is on the move. Julie, a 5'10" green-eyed blonde and a student at UCLA, was first runner-up in the Miss California contest in 1982. Determined to win, she entered again this year, and she did win. After weeks of hard work and some fun, of course, her dream came true.
The first runner-up is Miss Texas, Miss
To see what a day in the life of Miss USA is like, we met in New York, and I joined her in an exercise class.
Pull up. Yeah.
I like the aerobics because it hits every muscle. And you can push yourself as hard as you want to. If you're not feeling very well, you don't push yourself as hard. If you're feeling great, you just keep on going and going. I love chocolate and ice cream, and so that's why I like to work out a lot. So I can work out and sometimes splurge.
And quick. Thank you, that's class.
After the aerobics class, we talked about one of the hazards of being Miss USA. You're doing a lot of traveling, you're flying on a lot of airplanes with cocktails and hors d'oeuvres and all kinds of goodies. Are you able to resist them?
At first I wasn't. The first week it was hard.
Did you gain any weight that first week?
Oh, I did.
Did you really?
I gained about 5 pounds, and then I learned the word no.
Well, we don't want to fatten Miss USA.
That's right.
No need to worry about Julie. There is not an extra ounce on her. She won the swimsuit competition in the Miss USA pageant and will be very hard to beat in St. Louis. Julie had to appear at a designer fashion show that night, so we were off to get a new hairdo. Was there ever a time in your life that you were ugly and awkward?
Oh, sure.
Really, when?
When I was in junior high school, I was very skinny. My friends called me Twiggy. I had long arms and long skinny legs. I wasn't very coordinated, and I was aware of the fact, so I started taking ballet and gymnastics. I learned early that if I would take gymnastics and stuff, I could develop coordination. And that's how I developed my discipline, too.
How do you like to wear your hair?
I like to wear it down.
But they're going to do it out.
They're going to do it out.
How are you going to wear it for the Miss Universe pageant?
I'll wear it down and natural looking. Great.
That is very nice.
Fantastic.
It looks wonderful. She had a meeting at the Miss Universe office, so we decided to relive Julie's big night.
So now this part, this is when I started to get nervous.
What happens to you when you get nervous?
You look down the line and you see how many girls there are. I start breathing real deep.
It's Miss South Carolina.
Especially here.
Did you think right now you were going to win? I mean, did you?
Both of you step down here, please.
You don't know.
Now, one of you is about to become Miss USA. The other will be the first runner-up,
you
and that's a
friendly?
very important position.
We were roommates together.
For any reason, Miss
Oh,
USA
yeah.
cannot fulfill her
What were you
obligation
thinking
for the
like
year.
this man?
Come on, Bob. Hurry it up, come on. So I was just saying, please, don't say California. Don't say California.
First runner-up, and then Miss
Oh.
USA. The
Right
first
here.
runner-up is Miss Texas.
I just get nervous just watching it
I
again.
do too, and I'm not even in it. What did you feel like right now?
Oh, it's indescribable. I was just so excited. You're just in a dream world. You can't believe it's happening because it happened so quickly.
Well, you look pretty happy.
I was.
Bright, she's beautiful, and willing to work hard for the title.
Well, I'll tell you, she's going to have to, Melody, because she's up against a lot of competition here. You have to remember that this is an international contest, and they're competing for more than $150,000 in prizes, not to mention that year of experience and exposure.
You're right, Bob. Those are some pretty good reasons for beautiful women from all over the world to enter the pageant. Local pageants around the world are as different as the young women in them. Some are contests announced in newspapers with the winner chosen by write-in vote. Some are run by modeling agencies and look like fashion shows. But all are special events. And the one thing they have in common is that magic moment.
11番近畿地区代表山口優子さんおめでとう
I think the funniest thing is when you used to watch a beauty contest on TV, and then you'd prompt, along.
Yes.
And you were a beauty queen.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. I used to watch it. My mother started us watching it since we were about 13.
I think every girl dreams of it.
And we all, you think, oh, wouldn't you just love to be out there being one of those girls?
I
I was asked to enter, and I said no at first because, like a lot of other people in Norway, I didn't really like what these contests stand for. But now I heard that the contest in Norway was supposed to be different. But now I know a whole lot more about it, and I think totally different of it.
The European winners gathered in London to get acquainted, compare notes, have a good time, and meet the competition.
It's amazing that of all the girls, 80-something, well, two eyes, nose, and mouth are all completely different. It's amazing.
It's interesting to meet all the different people and see the difference in countries and how different each girl is, the way they speak, the way they talk, their little mannerisms and things like that.
Gotta come in closer.
After a whirl of press parties in an English garden, the girls were off for the 3-week rehearsal period that precedes the pageant.
Selecting the Miss Universe contestants is the first of many tough assignments. Getting them to one location from all over the globe is another. Some of the girls have never been out of their own country and speak only their native languages. Airport arrivals must be coordinated so that each young woman is welcomed personally. However, when the girls say hello to the waiting crowd in St. Louis, it's only the beginning. Once the contestants arrive, they're in for 3 weeks of fun and excitement, many of them enjoying their first visit to the United States and all it has to offer. But they're also in for 3 weeks of hard work. To put on a pageant this big takes an army of technicians and production personnel, not to mention chaperones, press representatives, drivers, and other volunteers. There are television segments to be taped, dinners to attend, and lots of rehearsals. Judith Houghton, the choreographer, is responsible for turning 80 beautiful women into 80 graceful entertainers.
A girl from the Middle East will have a much different style, even though she might have studied dance for 10, 12 years. She will dance much differently than an American girl who, or a European girl who knows disco or musical comedy. And to try to mold that into one number with an overall style so that you get an overall look is another part of the challenge. The opening number is, they're in their national costumes. It's more of a modeling kind of a number, although they do some dance steps. The idea is to get every girl in front of the camera because that's what the people want to see. They want to see what each of these girls look like. So I try to figure what I call patterns, where they move and they cross in front of a camera or they may come toward a camera and peel off. But so that every single face, all 80, are seen in that opening number.
I'd like everybody's right foot forward, right foot front, arms just to the side, none of all this, okay?
From the time we come in, the first thing we do are what we call locations. We take groups of girls outdoors and film them all in their fashion swimsuits. This is actually our first day to stand them up on their feet.
Here, a girl's future depends on her swimsuit. And for 20 years, June Wiley has had the difficult job of fitting all the girls in 2 different suits.
We allow each girl to select her own suit. Let's say in this case we have 80-some girls. I have probably brought 350 suits. And I can tell you that this is not an easy job because if there are 50 suits, every girl wants to try all 50 on. We do a suit which we create especially for the pageant, and this has to be designed so that we have no problems with all the various figures. As you know, probably, we have many ethnic differences. Some of the girls from the Orient are very tiny and small boned. Some of the other girls are a little fuller. So that we have to create a suit that will take all of this into consideration and still look very flattering. So it is really quite a complicated design. When I first started with the pageant, the girls were more curvaceous. I don't mean that I mean they were more hourglass. Their hips were fuller and their waists were smaller. The figure now is a more athletic figure. The hips are much smaller, but the waist is not quite as pronounced. This is a reflection of of the change in figures, and there is a definite change.
Who will be Miss Universe? Well, she'll have a beautiful face and figure, of course, but that's not all. She'll be the one with that undefinable something extra that catches the judge's eyes and captures the crowd. Every year, I share the excitement and the tears of the winner and watch her take that first walk for the camp. It's an emotional moment for her and for all of us, because we know from that night on, her life will never be quite the same. She belongs to the world as Miss Universe.
A pretty face reflected in a mirror, so perfect in every way. Every move, the picture's getting clearer.